Hello everyone, my name is Appleguy and welcome to another episode of The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. In the previous video we made our way halfway through the water temple and got the long shot, which is an extended version of the hook shot. It launches at twice the distance so we can go over much wider gaps. In order to progress in the dungeon we need to get rid of this block of time that is below the chest so we can drop down into a brand new area of the dungeon. So as you can see, the block will just disappear out of existence. In this next room, there are a bunch of vortexes, so we need to look out for those. They're basically just whirlpools that can suck you in if you get too close. So we need to be careful not to let that happen. We can begin to swim down a little bit. We won't see our first vortex for a little while. See, here it is, and just kind of go around. There we go. Now let's go ahead and put on the iron boots so that we can use our long shot item. There we go. Alright, now we're on flat land, so we can pull out our long shot and get a golden skulltula right here. Cool, and then we've got to pick up the token, of course. There we are. Now, if you might remember, there was another golden skulltula we need to get. It's actually in the room with the hookshot climb little ladder step thing. I'll show it off in just a little bit. But it will be able to be gotten now because we have the long shot. There is a fairy in one of these pots, so if you don't have a fairy in a bottle, or if you do and you just want to hold an extra one, you might want to grab that. Here we go, let's see if I can do it. I'm not really good at getting fairies, but I got it first try this time. Awesome. Now we have a fairy friend. What we need to do now is swim across this little land bit to get to the other place we can stand on to shoot a crystal switch. Be careful not to get sucked in too much by the currents. Awesome. If you do end up going through one of the whirlpools, it'll just take you back to the long shot chest room. Here we go. I switch down. And we just need to hook shot to the chest. Perfect, and we'll open up for a small key. Great, so now we can continue on. Now you might notice we're back in the room that had the current and the dragon statues and stuff. Pretty neat. Let's just head back out of the area of the dungeon now. Into the main hallway. Here we go. We've got to go across since we have the long shot now. We don't have to get as close as we did before. Oh, looks like I fell down. Big deal because we have the long shot. Up we go. And away. Iron boot time. Love putting on the iron boots. Favorite part of the dungeon by far. And we get to sink down. And now we get to use the long shot again to pull ourselves up. You might be noticing this is all familiar places. We covered this in the last video. Up we go, we just get to swim out of here now. Cool, we're floating around in a sea of endless possibilities. Next place we need to go is actually to grab that golden skulltula I was talking about earlier. And then we need to lower the water level back down to 0. So if you set Froar's Wind again after we went and got the thing behind the bombable wall, you can use that again, or you can just run back, it's not that far. There's number 1, keys number 2. There's that golden skulltula, as you can see. We might be able to hit him from here. I might need to step down. Nope, that'll be good. Gosh, the long shot just has such amazing range. No way we were able to get this ever before with the hook shot, because the long shot is super stretchy. We're able to get it right away. Awesome. Next thing we need to do is go back down to the first floor where we met Ruto the first time, because that is where we will be able to grab our next place to lower the water. Let's keep the bow equipped. You know what? Why don't we go ahead and just do classic? There we are. If I were playing this game maybe 8 years ago, I would keep my inventory like this as much as possible. Hello, little spike ball man. I need you to let me go away. Thank you, and why don't we just take out the other one too? Just so we can have some peace and quiet. Good. Alright. Let's go into here. You can always tell which room we're trying to go into because it has the 2 torches in front. That will help you know which one Ruto led you into the first time we were in this dungeon. Now we must swim up. If you remember, this is the area with the bombable wall. We'll just be coming up behind us. We bombed there to get a small key that was really well hidden. So thank you, game designers, for hiding that small key. Cool. And now when we go ahead and drain the water. And there goes the water. Who knows where it really drains out to? It must be some reservoir somewhere. Not Lake Hylia, obviously, because There's never any water in that lake. Alright, now we need to sort of begin our climb back up to the first highest level, as it is when we first enter the dungeon. So we can go into here, move our way to the back, and then get up here and raise the water level again. Zelda's Lullaby is a great song to have to play multiple times in a single sitting. Shaped like a Triforce if you didn't know. It's got the left, up, right, and it's kind of like the 3 triangles of the Triforce. That's how I remember the song. That's cool. Now, it's actually a golden skulltula in this very room. I'm sure you didn't see it, because it's all the way up here, in a place no one would ever suspect to look. But we have the long shot, so we need to aim high now, because we can hit things that are high in the air. Let's go through here. Cool, door will lock behind us, but of course it's never really locked. If we run around to the other side of this area, you might notice that there is this challenge I said we would tackle later on. What we need to do is shoot the crystal switch with our bow, and then use the long shot to hit the target, because if we tried it with the hook shot, it would be too short to hit. Oh, we might not be able to get it. Ah. Oh, wow, I clipped through the wall. That's pretty cool. Beat ya, game. Get destroyed. Alright, so what we need to do here is primarily pull out this block till it blocks our entrance. You might notice there's a chest if you look at the dungeon map. Cool, now it's locked into place. Can't do much with it for the meantime. What we need to do is actually head up. Looks like I'm too close to hit the target. Up. Perfect. And around. This will put us up here on the next layer, which is pretty cool, except we don't need to be on the next layer. We need to actually go right back to where we were and do the little challenge again, because now that the block is in the walkway, we can actually push it in a new direction. Here we go. Let's see if we can make it without having to clip through the wall this time. Perfect. Made it through just fine. Plenty of time to spare. Here we go. You see, remember it was previously tucked against the wall, but now we can actually push it. Push it some more, Link. All the way. Keep going. Awesome. And now we can just go back here and open this up. Cool. Next, we need to get back to where we just were. Up here. And we need to go ahead and restore the water level to the fullest extent, because we have 2 small keys now. 2 small keys that we are just itching to use. Here we go. Hello, Tektite. Goodbye, Tektite. Here we go. Get out of here, man. Shoo. That's the entrance to the dungeon there, if you did not know. You might notice there's a bit of a thing over here with one of those dragon statues that we saw earlier in the game. Can't do anything with that in the meantime, but we will come back to it. Here we are. We have another one of these challenges. Remember, there is the Tektite up here who's going to drop down to greet us. There he is. Hello, Mr. Tektite. And because we have the long shot, we don't have to bother with bombs. We do have to bother with aiming, though. Perfect. Elevator time. Do. Nice. Oh, that felt quicker. I don't think it was quicker, but it felt quicker. Here we are. And now we are back to the highest water level possible. Very, very soothing song here. Great. Just lovely. Cool, so now that we are at the highest level, we can go ahead and do... Oh, come here. There we are. What we actually need to do is hop back into the... Oh, get out of here, dude. I'm trying to explain. We need to sink all the way down to the bottom floor. Way, way back, very bottom floor of the dungeon. There was one area we haven't been to yet. One little side that we ignored on our little rotations of the dungeon. I don't believe it is this one. It's the area that had the little spike ball enemies. That's where they spawn. Ah, yes. Thank you, spike ball enemies, for leading the way. I do appreciate that. Here we are. And we just go ahead and head through here. Gonna need to use the long shot over here. Perfect. And then to get across, see there's a locked door. We need 2 small keys to finish this area of the dungeon. We have 1 of them, and we have 2 of them. We're about to only have 1 though, because we're about to use it right here. And bye-bye, small key. It was nice using you. Cool. A lot of these Tektite enemies here, and there are some rolling boulders. If these Tektite enemies you think are going to bother you, take them out. There is a current, if you might see, in the water. Oh, this is a dodgy one. There we go. I don't feel like taking out any more of them, so I'm just going to go ahead and chance it. Don't get sucked into the whirlpool, obviously, because that will result in some resetting of the room. Goodbye, Tektites. Awesome. So let's see what we got going on here. There are some new enemies. These are little stingray guys. If you go ahead and jump off to one of these sides, you can deal with these stingrays a little bit easier because they will all jump out at you as opposed to facing them in the water. They are much more dangerous in the water. There's a couple left. 1 and 2. Perfect. Now, clearing out the enemies allows us some time to think. You might have seen there's a switch down there, but obviously we cannot press that without using the iron boots, and then if we use the iron boots, we're beneath the water, which is the problem. This wall looks pretty strange, and if we slap it with our sword, it makes the weird little ting sound, which means we can bomb it. No, we don't want to save. We want to bomb the wall. There we go. And we just need to drop the bomb. Let's get a step back from the explosion. Cool. We need to push this all the way against the wall until it can't move anymore. And then we need to go to the other side of the wall. There we go. Because the ultimate goal is to push that onto the switch. Obviously, if we bomb the one side, we can bomb this other one. There's a crack over here, as you might be able to see. Awesome. Hop into the water to avoid taking any damage. Awesome. Now we need to pull it out just a little bit so that we can get behind it to continue pushing it. Just one little segment will do just fine. Cool. And just go back the way we were. See now, because we pulled it away from the wall, we're able to sneak around to the back of it and give it a nice push towards the switch, and eventually we're able to push it all the way into the water to where it will drop down and land on the switch. Just gotta keep going. Link is showing off his muscles once again, 2 episodes in a row. He gets to push very, very large blocks. All of them have the weird little symbol. It kind of looks like Lego hands, holding little dots, and then, I don't know, maybe kites on top. It's interesting. Here we go. The water is raising, which means we have access to this little corridor over here. Looks like we were able to beat the water flow just barely. Up and into the next door. And we can go ahead and examine what we have going on over there. Looks like some Tektites. Why don't we go ahead and take those guys out. We're aiming too high or too low. We need to decide on one. There we go. Tektite 1 down. Tektite 2 down. If we step on it, you can see the gate will open and the water spouts here will raise. We need to be very precise when jumping on these because there's only a short amount of time. And we of course want to make it in one cycle. There we are. You might hear the sound of pounding water. That is actually because we are directly above where the boulders start to come down in that room with all the Tektites and the currents and stuff. Let's go ahead and take out this golden Skulltula if we can. Sometimes it's very picky on its angles. Let's see if we can grab this target as well. We can. Awesome. Let's wait for one boulder to roll through and equip the iron boots because there's actually a small gap we can fall behind the waterfall with. We just gotta wait because we don't want to get taken out by the boulder. So if we wait for one boulder to come, we can just sneak behind it. Awesome. Here we are, new area. You might hear the battle music. There's one of those clam guys, a shell blade. We can take him out. Extra range to take out shell blades now that we have the long shot item. Let's go ahead and equip the Kokiri boots to climb the water here. Gulp, gulp. There we go. Last small key of the dungeon. Sad face. Here we go. Through the door. Alright. Boss key. That's that. We know this is the boss key, obviously, because it has the special blue and yellow design. Boom. That's it. We're actually ready to beat the boss of the dungeon now. We just need to go back to the main room. And it's actually near that dragon statue I noted earlier on in the episode. Because we raised the water level to its 3rd level, we're able to go directly there. And because, obviously, raising the water raises the dragon statues, as we saw in the room before the Dark Link mini-boss fight, the dragon statue will have the target exposed, so we are able to do as we need. Now we need to head over to the door. It's this one. You can tell because the 2 Tektites were guarding the progress door as opposed to the backtracking door. Let's head back. There we go. We're here again where we had to use the hook shot. Some people might be upset that I'm calling it the hook shot instead of the long shot. I do like to call it by their normal name, which is long shot, but you know, sometimes old habits take a while to break, so I'll do my best to call them the long shot when I can. But you know, it was the hook shot for about half the series, and having to change it up now would be a little bit of a memory swap. It will be done though, at least to the best of my abilities. The only difference in appearance between the hook shot and long shot is the hook shot was blue at the bottom, where the long shot is purple. It's just a little fun fact for you. That's how you can visually tell the two apart. This is the last time we're going to have to swim up this long water stream. Wow, here we go. So the water temple wasn't too hard. We haven't fought the boss yet, obviously, but bosses are never that challenging. Here we go. Across, and boom. If you were to leave the dungeon now, obviously you can come back here because it is at the highest level. 2 fairies here. I will absorb one of them and put one in a bottle. I could empty out the blue fire because I don't need that anymore, but at this point it's kind of just a little item, sort of like the milk, just something I want to keep around for as long as possible. And then I'll use this fairy just to get me some extra life if he wants to come back. Yep, there we go. Come here, man. Give me life. Why do you have to be like this? Alright, I'm going to try using this fairy and then capturing the other one. I doubt this will work though. Now it looks like he disappeared. No big deal, I already have 1 fairy, and I don't suspect this boss will take that many fairies. As always, you could go back here and see your luck on grabbing another fairy. You could farm them up here if that's something you're interested in. I just want to have all my bottles filled with something. So right now our arrangement is 2 fairies, blue fire, and milk. Cool, and then we just have to go up here, watch out for these blade traps. You do have to time it perfectly though, because it is slanted. Which means if you were to stop, you would just slide back down, or if you were to roll, unless you're here at the end. Alright, we all know what this door means. This is the boss door of the dungeon. Guys, that is actually going to do it for today's episode. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, please leave a comment, please subscribe, please tell your friends about the series if you're enjoying it. If anyone you know is stuck on the water temple, send them my way, I'm glad to help them out. Thank you guys so much for watching. In the next episode, we're going to go into this dungeon, boss room, and defeat the boss, and then do a couple of errands around Lake Hylia. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you then. Take care.